Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I'm not doing Skype readings at the moment. There's just too much going on. But if you would like to get an email or a video reading, you can do so on the website address below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your key to the week, you have the Justice card. So some sort of paperwork or legality could be coming up for you this week. It looks like you may be needing to sign on the dotted line. Now remember, the Justice card isn't just about legal stuff. It's not just about legal matters. Sometimes it's about the commitment that you have to make, or making a commitment. So this is where you literally start down a specific path. It's where you show up in some way, shape or form. It's where you decide to commit to something. And because this is permeating your whole week as your key to the week, it kind of says that in all of these sectors of your life, you are going to need to either commit to something or recommit to something. It's going to be different for everybody, right? You'll be happy to know as well, your ruler is leaving Cancer, finally, right? So this in and of itself, even though Leo energy is, it's very different for you guys, and in fact Leo is actually your true 12th house, especially if you're an ascendant Virgo, but it's still an energy that is much easier, I would say, right? So this could see you thinking about the past in some way, shape or form. It could see you really starting to make a commitment to separate yourself from old memories, from old feelings in some way, shape or form. For your actions and options, you have the World card. Look at this. This is just about you deciding that you are a fucking boss. I love this. I mean, I love the World card anyway, because this is true completion and it's also true mastery. The World card always reminds you that you're effectively, that you have done enough, that you have been of service, that you have given enough to get to, that you've done enough to get to that next level, to get to that next step. And because it is your actions, this is about what you're doing. The World card is about changing your status in some way, shape or form. This is about you really stepping up, really stepping forward when it comes to your work, when it comes to your business. This is about you expanding and growing things, but it's also about you finding that innate energy of really knowing yourself inside and out. This is a really powerful energy to have as an action. When it comes to your options, this could be a week where you are signing a big contract of some sort, or certainly being offered something that is a big contract. This could be a great week for you where not necessarily where you're headhunted, but where you are in some way, shape or form. This could see you really this could see you really getting ahead, but it's through some sort of alignment with other people, through some sort of connection, and that's a really powerful place to be. I mean, I love this. What a way to start the week. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. So whatever it is that you are signing, whatever path you are deciding to commit to, this is great. There is some very good news on the horizon for you. It could be that there is some sort of opportunity that comes off of the back of some sort of hard work that you've done that really starts to open up new avenues, that really takes you in a different direction. Remember the Wheel of Fortune as well. This is very often where you see the results. It's where you see all of the things that you've kind of put out into the world, that you've initiated. This is where you see them come to fruition, right? And interestingly enough, these two cards, especially these two cards, are pivot points. This is where you change tack, not change tack, this is where you change direction. This is where you go in a new direction of some sort. Sorry, I think that's my door. And as a conversations card, look at this, right? What's the other thing that I always say about the Wheel of Fortune? This is synchronicity, it's abundance, it is joy, it's being in the right place at the right time, it's being able to commit to the synchronicities that show up for you now. This is a really powerful energy for you guys, and I'm really excited to see where it takes you and how it shows up for you. The other thing with that World card as well, off the back of the Wheel of Fortune, off the back of the World card, This is kind of saying that the directions that you're taking now, the ways that you are moving forward, coincide with all of the hard work that you've already done. And this is where you're just going to continually see big moments showing up for you. This is a really exciting week. I'm very, very excited for you. For your money and materials, you've got the Eight of Swords. Okay, so it's not an easy card, but fuck this, right? Whatever. Like, when you look at the two cards that came before it, I'm not even that fussed about this. The Eight of Swords, when it comes to your money and materials, is saying to you a couple of things, right? In order to make the most out of all of these amazing opportunities that are shaping up for you this week, you are going to have to be in tip-top form. Right, so it's really important this week that you pay attention to your own health. If you've been letting it slip, maybe this is your diet, maybe it's your exercise, maybe you take supplements usually and you haven't taken them for a while, or maybe you're on some sort of long-term medication that you've kind of let the whole thing slide or slip. This is going to highlight to you where you can't afford to allow that to slip, because you want to be able to take care of or take advantage of all these amazing things that are happening. Now, the other thing with the Eight of Swords as well, it looks like you guys had either committed to some sort of journey, maybe some sort of travel, and it looks like you're now this week deciding to pull out of it. Which is really interesting, because it kind of looks like there was something that was full steam ahead that you were going with, and then this week it's kind of like something happens, maybe it makes your feet a little cold and you're like, you know what, I think I'm going to change track on that. And that's fine, because that means that you're paying attention to your intuition, right? Now, when it comes to your money and specifically your finances, it's interesting because it looks like one of the things that come up this week, you may end up having to sink quite a bit of money into. And the problem with that is it's gonna soak up all of those pockets of cash that you would have usually had for something else. So it kind of looks like this week you are making a very long-term investment, and it's weird because there's a part of you that's saying, yes, you know what, I know this is a good thing for the long run, but in the immediate future it's going to dry up those sort of extra pockets of cash that you might have dotted about. Not necessarily a bad thing. And when it comes to the home and environment, I mean, you know, underneath the world card, if you're doing any sort of reservations or construction, it looks like this is going to be taking up a lot of your time this week. Not necessarily a bad thing. Again, that long-term commitment, actually not that bad. For your love and relations, you have the Strength card. This week, love looks good, right? The relationship looks solid, it looks tight, it looks strong. You guys are really sharing with each other very well. You're very open to new ideas from each other. Now, off the back of that Eight of Swords, it's a good job that you have this actually, right? Because it kind of looks like you guys are going to be grounded this week, where maybe you were planning to go somewhere or to do something, and this week because I do feel like there's going to be something coming up this week where you're having to retract it, and it looks like if you're spending that much more time together, it's a good job that everything is tight, right? And maybe this is sometimes as couples, you have those tight moments where money's not so great or whatever, and you look back on it like a year, 2 years down the line and you just laugh about it. I'll give you an example. When I went to Paris with my previous partner, it was cold, it was wet, it was raining. It took us pretty much all of the money that we had at the time. This was what, three and a half years ago now. This was before I started doing Radiant Reality full time, and in the end we used to laugh about, because we had such an amazing time on such a small budget, like that we didn't have much while we were there, and we were just like, and it was great after, because we look back on that and it was a really fond memory. So think about that. Whatever this week might feel like a slog or a challenge at first, in the long run it will be one of those things that's just a fonder memory for you, and it looks like you guys are getting on really well anyway. For those of you that are single this week, you've got 2 8s here. Now this looks like there is some sort of new knowledge or insight that's coming in this week that could really highlight to you the kind of relationship that you actually want and the kind of commitment that you're actually in the market for. So this week you could be really getting to grips with the kind of relationship that you actually want. And so when people show up for you this week, which I feel like there might be at least 1 or 2, certainly one that is either older, mature, more mature or well established. You could be meeting this person in your local area as well. Sorry, I'm just looking at the cards to kind of draw in to see what's going. But yeah, you could be meeting somebody like that this week, and you know, you could be kind of like, oh, you know, wow, I didn't expect to run into you. They could highlight to you the kind of relationship or connection that you actually want now. So something for you to really think about. Yeah, I like this. I think it's going to be a great week for you guys. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.